Welcome back to the Castos YouTube channel. Today I want to hit on 3 changes to the Descript app. Minor, but makes my life using Descript even better. It's my favorite app for editing podcasts and editing audio. I don't think I could go back to any other app to edit podcasts in the future. It's fantastic. So I did other videos on Descript on this channel. I'll link them up in the description. I did a pros and cons, and 2 of the cons that were in that have been resolved in the latest update. They're very minor, but they had a lot of friction for me for using the app in its fullest potential. The first one, there's 3 here, but the first one, very basic, very minor. You can't even see me demonstrate it because you can't see my hands, but I can now use the space bar to hit play. I can still use the tab key to hit play. And I know this sounds silly, but if you're editing a lot of other content in other apps, maybe you're using Audacity to quickly record some audio or GarageBand or something like that, or maybe you're doing video editing as well. You're so used to hitting the space bar that when you hop over to Descript, in the past, you kept hitting space bar, just literally put spaces in your transcript, and you're like, this is not what I want. Now you can hit space bar and it plays. Crazy, I know, but that's a world of difference for me and just making my life a little bit easier. Second is the removal of filler words. When I did my initial video on this, it was fantastic that I could, highlight my entire composition. Like I'll go right here, I'll go to remove filler words, and you have this automatic list of all of these filler words that Descript will run through your transcript and remove those filler words. And if I just click off of that,
it's something they can take.
Pause.
Certainly direct access.
You can see right here that there's 174 results. I've already cleaned up the ums and the your nose, I think. So I've already cleaned up a whole bunch of them, so there's only 174 left. But if you just delete all of those from your audio file, sure, you won't hear those words anymore, but the edits were pretty harsh. And that was one of the cons that I said in my previous video is I didn't just blanket remove everything because I didn't trust Descript to do the job to make it sound good. It was very jump cutty. It's not a professional term, but it just jumped from, word to word, and it felt kind of harsh. They've improved it. It sounds a heck of a lot better, which is not a scientific measurement, but still, there's still some points where it can sound too much of a jump cut. It really depends on how the person says it in the context of their speech, of the conversation that's happening, but I have found it to be a fairly good improvement. I always just go through and remove the ums, and the wells, and the you knows, and I trust Descript to do that. Even if I can hear the jump cut, I'm not going to worry myself about it. It's still about the content that's in the podcast, but Descript is doing a heck of a lot better job at it, so I applaud them for that. So still, move with it at your own risk, but I would say that for the most part, I am now satisfied. I was pretty critical of it before because it was one of their major selling features. You could remove all these words, but when you remove these words, you remove words, so the conversation sounded kind of jagged there. Next up, and this was the big one for me. Again, one of the benefits of using Descript is it transcribes the audio for you. You're editing with text, and then at the same time, you're getting a transcript. So as a podcaster, you're kind of killing two birds with one stone here. You can edit your podcast much more seamlessly, and then you're getting a transcript at the end of the day. But it doesn't always get the words right. It's not 100% accurate. So you find yourself going in to edit these lines of text. And in the Descript of old, you had to switch to a different mode. This is the one that I was most critical about. The UI wasn't really sharp. You had multiple cursors, multiple highlight points, and then you're bouncing between 2 modes. So sometimes you forget, okay, am I editing? Am I doing text? They had different colors and whatnot. It just wasn't smooth. Now, if you just highlight a line of text, you can see this pops up, this correct button. You can either hit E or start editing right in this little dialog box. And now this is how you correct your words. It looks obvious. In the old version, it wasn't like this. It was pretty rough. And now I can come in and edit this text if I want. So the line is pretty technical traders. We're not necessarily your first. So I can say something like pretty technical traders. We're not necessarily your first, like that. And that'll go ahead and correct that line, that sentence right there. And this is great for transcribing or grabbing the transcription, correcting the transcription that you're going to use on your website or in your podcast show notes. Or if you use Descript like I do for a lot of audiograms, if I clip this paragraph to a new clip, this is one of the reasons why I really like Descript is I can turn this into an audiogram, and going through and editing the text for correct spelling, the correct punctuation, the correct word if they get the whole word wrong is paramount to a successful audiogram. So if I click on audiogram, you can see there's the text, and it's turning this into a video, and it's overlaying the text there, so you can kind of get some higher levels of engagement with all of this stuff, and it works really well. So being able to edit that text, not only for the transcript, but for video that you're creating with the audiogram stuff. So that's it. Those are the three quote unquote major updates. They are pretty major because those were the things that you struggled with a lot with Descript, and I'm happy that they made those improvements. If you haven't seen the podcast editing workflow video, check that out too. If you're new to using Descript and this has kind of piqued your interest, you want to see how I edit my show, check out that video as well. Thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want more. Let me know in the comments below what you use to edit your podcast. What is making you happy in your podcast editing life? Is it Descript? Is it something else? Let me know. All right, we'll see you in the next video.